Looks like we might be having. No, looks like we're going to get started here pretty soon. No technical difficulties tonight. All right, we're going to get started here in just a moment. In just a moment. Welcome, welcome. To protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We would fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. All right, welcome, welcome, guest. Soldier in the making. Welcome to your hour of power, your solution interaction podcast. Get in. Let me get myself straight away here. I got my books and all my good stuff here happening. So get in, buckle up, turn down all distractions. Did you grab a pen? Did you invite a friend? All right, I am your host, Soldier of Self-Mastery here, coach out of Stockton, along with Coach Jim. Hopefully you'll be with us tonight. And I am the founder. I am the world's #1 problem gambling interventionist, visionary here out of Stockton. And I want to remind you to Soldier Scribe right now. If you're not Soldier Scribed, make sure that you're Soldier Scribed and you turn your notifications to all. Okay? Gambling is a lie. It'll turn you into a French fry. You eat too many of those, you know you die. So time to decide, let go of your pride. Let's go inside. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Soldier in the making, community member, guest. We are here and we are started. Hey, Coach Jim.
Hi there, Santos. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing super fantastic today. Or at least I'm trying.
Super
How you doing,
fantastic.
Jim?
Pretty good, pretty good. Yes, I have
Good.
my Diet Coke here,
There you
caffeinated.
go. Uh-oh. We're ready to rock and roll. Well, it looks like we'll have a few. It looks like we'll have a few visitors. We should have a few visitors coming in. If not, it's just me and you. You generally people are late here, but
Yeah.
Facebook. We are live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube, and we're live on Twitter today. So, welcome, Ken. Good to see you, all the way from Nova Scotia. Jim, all the way from Tucson, Arizona, and I'm all the way from Stockton, California. So we're gonna bring back this topic just a little bit. We're gonna discuss this topic a little bit tonight. Kind of prepare us for Monday, prepare us for this week. A lot of change has been happening. We're getting some really neat, interesting weather out here in California. I don't know about you, Jim. Are you getting interesting weather out there in Arizona?
Yeah, we got a lot of snow. It snowed about 3 days ago. I mean,
Oh
it was
yeah,
crazy. Yeah, I'm sure, yeah, California, I heard, got a lot of snow too.
we're
And
getting a lot of it in the background. I know that we're getting a lot of snow in the background in the mountains. I see that.
mhm.
Yeah, that's good. Well, we talked a little bit. We talked a little bit last week, Jim. We talked about um, tools for transformation, but we kind of left off on this. We wanted to kind of touch on this a little bit. If I can find the question here, where is the question? What creates consistent behavior of positive action, or what can create consistent behavior into positive action? That's what we're going to talk a little bit about, Jim. We'll discuss that for a little bit here. I got a proverb I want to read, and I was also going to read from my white book, if I can, talk about the seven laws, the seven evolutionary laws of needs, and we'll go there. We'll make it a 45-minute program here. Time will go by very quick, and hopefully, somebody will be encouraged tonight. Maybe somebody will be inspired to draft a plan, draft a micro step forward. We can't stay where we're at, can we, Jim? I know I can't.
Yeah. We always want to try to get better, right? I mean, if you kind of stay where you're at, I mean, the world's going to kind of pass you by. It's kind of like, the universe always wants to destroy things. The universe wants to take from you, break things down, and it's our job, I guess, in life is to be able to organize things in a positive, productive way. Our body works the same, right? It's like it takes all this, chaos and sets up an organized, working, functioning mechanism, tool, right? That's our body. That's life, right? And we can just look at our body and it's like, hey, that's our job. We need to continuously keep moving towards being productive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being productive. Um, and that should be a focus. I don't know about you, Santos, but I drive a lot. I'm sure that you drive a lot too. I've seen you in
Yeah.
your videos. You drive quite a bit. And I kind of like driving. I like driving because
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of a reflection of where what we should be doing. There's a goal, right? There's a destination, right? And we're concentrating on getting to that destination, right? Sometimes there's detours, sometimes things, you know, um, things are closed off, but we find a way to get to that place, right? And we're always focused. One thing I can't stand
Mm-hmm.
is driving aimlessly. You know, I hate that. Getting lost or it's like I don't know where to go.
Oh,
That just kind of just gets me out of sorts. Um, and yeah, I mean, when I drive, I definitely am focused. So I mean, and we have that ability, right? So I mean, it's like if you feel that you don't have that kind of focus, you do it all the time. You know, I think
mhm.
one of the listeners here is a driver. I think she's a truck driver, isn't she? Um,
Maybe
and,
Laura. Yeah, I
yeah,
believe so.
Laura, right? Uh-huh. Right. So yeah, yeah, we have it in ourselves to focus on something and get to where we want to go, right? So that should give us some encouragement, right? We've done it before. We've done it before. There's a lot of things that we can go and pull from or draw from.
Yeah, that's important. That point that you just said. There's a lot of areas in our lives that we can draw from. Now, you talked about, we are talking about what creates consistent behavior. Sometimes we start things and we don't complete. I find myself doing that quite a bit lately. I start something and I don't complete it. And there's areas, right? There's focus thieves in there that I got to deal with. You talked about being lost. That's the worst thing sometimes. If you're driving around or you're going somewhere because of time constraints, because of advertisements, because of people that we may have in the car, or the time constraints that we have somewhere that we have to get to. We just got to get there. And when you find yourself lost, that's one of the most horrible things is when you find yourself lost going around in a circle and you're almost like frustrated, ready to give up on yourself. It's a horrible experience.
Yeah, when we're lost, and I think we feel like that all the time. Sometimes, I mean, in our lives, it's like, where am I going to go with my life, right? Well, we don't have that purpose, right? It seems like we are lost if we don't have some kind of purpose, and
Yeah.
we get pulled into the most comfortable, safest place, right? That takes us out of that feeling, right? The casino, right? Whatever addiction it is, for that momentary pleasure, momentary good feeling, right? So you don't have to suffer from that that understanding or that talk in your mind that you don't know where you're going, man. And I remember when I was a kid,
Mm.
I mean, when I got lost, I would cry. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
It's like it's a frightening thing. It's a frightening thing. So you get away from your parents, you get, detached from the group. It's like,
Hmm.
oh no, right? Yeah, it's pretty bad. So focus is something that we need to get on track, you know. And you know, I was thinking about, the how do you get yourself into a positive emotional state of transformation? And you got to get creative. You got to use some mind hacks too. Getting
Hmm.
into certain states, like let's say that you can say, you know what, I'm at the lowest point in my life.
Hmm.
You can say that you might not be, but you can say that, you know what, I'm at the lowest point of my life. No, is this is the lowest. But from that perspective, you can say, you know what, the only place I can go is up. The only place I can go up. So what's there to lose? This is the lowest. I'll try this. Let me try that. I pit. I'm at the lowest point. I'm at the lowest place. And when you have that kind of state, it's a strange state to be in. You kind of feel almost like, you know what? You have like a sense of relief because now that you have a kind of a direction, because that's like, well, I'm not going down anymore, right? And all of a sudden you get a kind of a calm feeling, and you start getting a little bit motivated, a little bit more
Hmm.
motivated.
Hmm.
Um, Another way to get yourself, I think, in that kind of positive emotional state is to kind of list all the words that are useful in getting to the goal that you want. I mean, whether it be getting out of gambling or some kind of an addiction, right? The things that I list a bunch of words that I would write down, like
Hmm.
discipline. I would write down, how do I get to, I was thinking about this. It's like, what is it? Like money, you know, is not attracted to stupidity. Okay, what is money attracted to? Right? What are the good things attracted to in a person? Right? And I listed all the things: discipline, attention to detail, hard work, smart work, consistency, planning, refinement. Memory, observation, initiative, learning, reflecting. I'll
Hmm.
just write these words down, all these words, and that kind of is like, okay, all right, am I applying this to my goal? What do I want? What do
Hmm.
I want to reach? Okay, so I want to stay away from the casino. Let's say I want to stay away from the casino. Okay, what do I need to do out of these words right here? Okay, I got to have a plan. you know I would encourage people to write down, these kinds of positive words,
Hmm.
constructive words that help you, get focused. I mean, seeking answers, emotional control. Well, how do I seek emotional control? Get kind of antsy, jittery, I drink, or I have to go to the casino or something. Like,
Hmm.
so emotional control. What are some ways I can go and control my emotions? Maybe it's not all that caffeine I'm drinking, or maybe it's the people at work that'll really bend me out of shape, or my family. You know,
Pe-
you start
Yeah.
like going over these kinds of influential words that get you to the place where you want to, right? Patience, focus, minimize, perseverance, time management, right? Write these words down and look at your
Mhm.
goals. How can I apply
For
to
some,
where I want to go? Where I want to go.
exactly. You mentioned words. You shared some powerful comments in there. There's a lot to take in. Um, and earlier, also, Jim was sharing about feeling lost. We all feel lost to some degree in this world. We're all going to feel lost to some degree. Not completely, but obviously, if you have a plan that you follow every day, it helps. And the cool thing, Jim, is that what's really cool about today? Unfortunately, there's a lot of people gone. There's a lot of people gone, but we're still here. So we have an opportunity to start over if we get lost someplace. We get distracted. Um, I remember one time I was in Los Angeles. I was there on a temporary job, and someone said, "Whatever you do, don't get lost in an alleyway in Los Angeles, especially if you don't know the area. You don't want to drive down an alleyway and be lost in there. That could be the end of everything." The cool thing is that you can start all over again, right? You're here. Who knows? Maybe you had a really good day today. You got to start all over again tomorrow. You can start afresh. Now, this is something that we all have to work on every single day. It is a discipline. You talked about that word. And the word discipline isn't a bad word, Jim. I just think that we've attached the wrong meaning to it. Somehow, inside of our head, we've attached meanings or feelings, emotions to certain words. And those are the words that we need in our lives, right? We need those, not the word itself, but we need the activity, the action that goes along with those words. And that's what we need in our lives. It's an everyday thing, it's an everyday battle. So not only do you have your bad habits, right? Gambling, drinking, smoking, what have you, you also got to deal with yourself. You got to deal with your emotions. We talked about this earlier. What creates a consistent behavior? It's not going to be perfect, but it can be consistent. Let me read a proverb here, real quick, if I may, before I forget. Proverb today is going to be Deuteros chapter 6. And it says, what is it? Let me see. Deuteronomy chapter 6. It says, "And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart and with all thy soul and with all thy might. Or these words which I command thee this day shall be in thine heart, and thou shalt teach them diligently." There's that word discipline also, diligently. "Unto thy children shalt thou talk of them when thou sittest in thine house, and when thou walkest by the way, and when thou liest down, and when thou rises up." Even the Bible teaches us that we need to incorporate discipline into our lives, or else we're going to fall by the wayside.
Yeah, I mean, we can do this. I mean, when we associate, those kinds of things like discipline, the phrase discipline works miracles. I mean, say that over again and again. Discipline works miracles.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, you mean if I stay consistent and have a goal that I take action on, and if I stay disciplined and do it over again, I'm going to see something beautiful happen in my life? Are you so I just have to do this? I just have to do this on a consistent basis? It's going to freaking bring a miracle into my life? Here I am, lowest point in my life. Lowest point in my life. You're saying that I can pull myself out of this trash? You know? I
Mhm.
mean, it's like, what do I have to do? What do I have to do? You know? And it starts with like small things. It starts with the discipline of just reviewing all these vocabulary words every day, writing down a goal, right? Reading it over again and thinking about it. Small discipline, right? Do it each day. Journaling, right? You talk about journaling every day, writing things down, thinking about what you're doing, thinking
Yeah.
about yourself, right? The discipline. You do that every day. And it's little by little, right? I guarantee you, right? In a year, right? You're gonna say, "Oh my gosh, look at
Mhm.
all the changes that happened in my life because I did these things." And when you start small stuff, right? Little by little, you do that over and over again, consistently, right? You know, it adds to other things because you're starting to gain some traction and some victories.
Hmm.
You look at yourself, it's like, it's like I don't do that. But, you know, I think it's really important to just keep reminding yourself. You said the good life comes from a good set of positive reminders, right? Over and over again. You say that word discipline, discipline. How do I incorporate this magical word that creates miracles in my life? How can I be better disciplined? What can I be disciplined in? Just cleaning up, paying attention to detail, right? Being careful of what you're doing. That's something that I was telling myself, you know what, I'm going to be more mindful of what I do in each moment, because I'm sloppy. I do careless things and I hurt myself, or I drop things, I make mistakes, silly things, but I'm going to go ahead and be more attentive, more focused, right?
Hmm.
And you concentrate, you write that down, and you start thinking about it, just remembering it, right? And then you see those changes happen. you know I mean, it seems so slight, so small, right? To just bring it up in your mind and remember, but it can make the difference from getting off that exit to the casino, right? Or going home, to your family, right? Just that little
Exactly.
thought, that reminder, right? So be disciplined, right? Be disciplined to being conscientious of all the positive things that will help you get to where you want to go, right?
Exactly. Exactly. The little things, the minuscule, right? Little tiny things that we don't realize can make a difference. And I tell you, Jim, if I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for journaling. I don't know where I'd be if it wasn't for journaling. I think journaling is one of the biggest life hacks that I use to help myself stay focused. Just simply writing things down, like you mentioned, writing things down. Um, and I want to ask, is there anybody on the program right now? I know that we're broadcasting via Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Is there anyone on the broadcast that has a specific question? You've got something going on you want to ask? I want to take some time right now to acknowledge all of you that are here: Laura, Ken, Mark, K6, The Rock, Ken, Mr. Gumballs. That's a new one. Mr. Gumballs. Um, hello, Mr. Gumballs. Good to see you here. So we are talking about, again, we're talking about uh, looking at the things that help us stay motivated, right, to create behavior. And all of it is right up here. Or should I say 95% is up here, and some of it could be down here, right? Or could it be 98% emotional, and then maybe 7 or 8% visual or mind intellect? I don't know exactly how that works, but I know that emotions are tied into everything that you and I do. And the more focused that we become, right? How do we get ourselves to tap into this energy that we already have? You have this great energy.
Yeah. I mean, you were talking about mind mouth power, and we were talking about being lost. I think being lost is like that feeling of helplessness, of not being in control. But you can
Mm,
tell yourself, I am in control. I am in control. I'm in control of how I feel. I'm in control of how I respond to whatever that's thrown at me. I'm in control. I'm in control of myself, analyzing how I'm feeling and what am I going to be doing about this. I'm in control. You say that over and over again. And then you start thinking, so yeah, I am in control. These are the ways I am in control, right? And all of a sudden you start having this feeling, right? Not that gut wrenching panic attack, that horrible feeling, but it's replaced with a powerful feeling. And I said this before. It's like, your emotional state can change just by your imagination, watching horror movies, right? What if you imagine that the good guys ganged up on the bad guy, the monster, I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you. Come on, bring it on. And all of a sudden your state changes from fear, fright, right, into intense emotion of let's get it on. I'm gonna fight. I'm not gonna be a coward. It's like, wow, this energy that you create just by, you know, a different, different focus, right? And that's a choice right there. That's a real choice. Say,
Yep.
I'm in control. I am in control. You know. So we have that ability, and be we have to be disciplined in remembering that. And where does that come from? Writing it down over and over again, reading it over and over again, saying it to yourself over and over again, applying it to everything in your life over and over again, right? Discipline, discipline, I'm going to be disciplined in getting better. How can I get better? I'm going to do this. I'm going to make my bed every day. You know, I'm going to go
Yeah.
out and clean up every day. I'm going to look at the details. How can I make this kitchen a little bit better than yesterday? I cleaned up, but what can I do, And you do it. You do it. And at the end of it, it's like, yeah, you know, you start building these
Mhm.
little pictures, whatever it is, this time I'm going to go ahead and say hi to all my workers, because, I'm sick and tired of being afraid, and being shy and timid, I'm going to say, hi, how are you? How are you today? You know, I mean, little things, it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's amazing how
Yeah.
they can go and change you. So, I mean, personal development, if you want serious change, getting out of those awful addictions, right? It starts with
Mhm.
developing yourself.
Yep. Yep. Working on your mindset, working on your emotions, and just a little plan, a little bit of writing. Um, and another thing here that one thing that most gamblers or anybody that's going through trauma or some kind of a horrible addiction, you need to work on you. That's what we've been discussing here. If you've been troubled, if you've had some issues you want to get out of, that's what we're talking about here. Basically, you got to work on getting stronger, right? Instead of focusing, man, how can I beat this addiction? Or, what can I do to stay away from the casinos when I drive by? Or what can I, whatever, whatever. No, how can I get stronger? How can I become more disciplined over these areas of my life? Because if you don't, these areas are always going to be there to haunt you, right? So you can overcome these areas, and you can get stronger in your mind to be able to just become the person that you want to become, to do the things that you want to do, because we're all going to fall short. You're still going to fall short. But if you're struggling with something, maybe that thing that you're trying to overcome is not what you need to overcome. What you need to do is you need to get stronger within yourself, right? How can I build up my emotions here? How can I build up my mind here? What is it that I need to write down and remind myself? Maybe there's something that I could write down and remind myself every single day until it begins to stick with me.
Yeah, last week you were talking about the word clarity, and I try to find clarity and perspectives that give me, a positive way of helping myself. I mean, I was talking about confusion and frustration last time, and I mean, the problem is not really out there. The problem is really not out there, the
Mhm.
external, right? And we can go and get frustrated with all the people. I realize, you know what? Is there real evil out in the world, or is there just people with different values just fighting, to take over? You know, I don't know. Some people say this is good, this is bad. You know, you know, I say no, this is good, this is bad. It depends upon your perspective, right? I mean, and what's out there doesn't matter. It's really what's going on inside. And when I get away from that confusion, it's like I get frustrated at the world. Well, oh, those darn casinos or those darn bars or those the drugs that are coming across the border, oh, it's the politicians' fault.
Mhm.
I it's like you can get frustrated at a lot of stuff, that you really don't have any control over, right? You can I think it's a convenient excuse, right? From dealing with the real issue, which is within us, right?
I
So
think
I
we
don't
got
want that
a.
confusion.
I think we got a real problem, Jim. I think we got a real problem, and when I look at successful people, out there, when I look at other successful people,
Mhm.
they all have the same problems, right? We all have the same problems, and I had a couple of questions in here. So tired of winning to losing, stopping only to go back and start the process again. I was thinking about that myself earlier. I remember back in 2014, 2015, 2016. I was still struggling a little bit, going back, but something kept me looking forward and realizing something. I I have to say God's grace, I believe God's grace enabled me, but I also was doing something. I had a thought going on. I had something going on during that time where I was battling, fighting temptation, uh, uh, well, fighting temptation, really, because it doesn't matter whether you have a good day or a bad day, you're still going to be fighting temptation if you are, going to that, if you're going to the casino, if you're playing the slot machines or doing whatever you're doing. Does that make sense? Am I losing it here?
I think I think it goes back to the idea of being confused. It looks like it's like tired of winning and losing, stopping only go to the back. I think that's some confusion right there. I think that's confusion. It's like if you get some clarity, like we talked about, let's go and take a look at how I felt when I lost and how much did I lose. And let's go and take a look at how much I've won. Let's go and compare the two. And we
Yeah.
see that the amount that I lost, thousands, tens of thousands, maybe, right?
Hmm.
Versus how much I won. It's like, and wait a minute, not only am I losing my money, I'm losing my time here. Okay, so what's the benefit really? Now I'm getting some clarity. It's like, oh, wait, wow, wow. It's like, what's the point of this? What's the point of this? And
Yes.
when you get that clarity, you're not confused anymore, right? It's like, you know what? It doesn't make any sense to me. However, you can actually say, you know what? Well, why do I keep on going? I understand that that's the rational side of me, but what's going on within me? Well, there's something that's pushing me over here. Maybe it's just not money. Maybe it's something else, you know?
Hmm.
So let me see if I can find some clarity, get out of the confusion, find out what is the actual source of me being pushed into my addiction. What could it be? Look at your life, Start looking at your life and being honest, right?
That makes a lot of sense right there. Just looking, taking a little bit of time to look at yourself, right? Just taking a little bit of time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 2 minutes. When do we ever really stop to think about? Only when we have problems, I think, because when things are going well, we really don't ponder. When things are going well, we don't stop to think, even though we should, right? Man, things are going well. How can I keep this going well? Or what is it that's got this thing going well, right? Well, things are going bad. Man, how did I get here? How can I prevent this from happening again? So whether it's going good or whether it's going bad, but generally we wait till things break down really bad and then we start to think.
Santos, sometimes I think that we get into the denial stage. We don't want to go and look because what we can find could be so traumatic. It's like, oh my God, this is my life. This is who I am.
Mhm.
How you see yourself, could be just so devastating, could be so painful, or maybe in your mind,
Yeah.
you're avoiding seeing that, because it'll just, maybe you think it's just going to destroy you, just rip you apart because, you're not seeing, the best side of yourself. Maybe you're just seeing, just all the negative, and all that negativity, is just, you just can't handle that. But I mean, if you're going to change, you got to rip that band-aid off. you
Sooner or
got to
later.
you got to rip that band-aid off, because yeah, if you don't, I mean, I got to get a spot checked on my face. It's like, what is this weird spot, you know and I said, no, it's nothing. No, it's nothing. But I mean, it's like, if I'm in denial, it's like, it could be cancer. It could be, something like that, right? you know well, that freaks me out. I could die. So I don't want cancer. you
Hmm.
know you
Yeah.
gotta but you gotta find out, right? You gotta find this stuff out if you're gonna be making positive change. So I mean, yeah, it's like, what is that? The truth shall set us free, right? The truth shall set us free, to make changes, right? And errors that we do in our life. um we're stronger. I remember Jordan Peterson said, life is really hard, but we're stronger than life. And if you really think
Yeah.
about it, that's true. And if you have that mindset going into, really looking at yourself, you know, with that understanding, you know what, you know, yeah, I made mistakes. I screwed up. I've failed a lot. I've done a lot of bad things,
Mhm.
but, I can turn things around.
I'm in the casino right now battling the feeling. Basically, you know, that's the key right there is battling yourself. And, Jim, and guests and soldiers in the making, we are weird. We are some weird individuals when you really think about it. Uh, we have, I mean, we're human beings. And when you look at yourself and you look at what you can do or where you came from, obviously a lot of where we are today is where we came from. Where you are today has a lot to do with, or has everything to do with, where you came from. Somebody said that the mindset that got you to where you are today is not the same mindset that's going to get you to where you need to be. I'm going to say that again. I think that's a good one for me. The mindset that you have today that got you to where you are is not the same mindset that's going to get you to where you need to be. So a program like this is an excellent program. Why? It's only about an hour. It only cuts about an hour into your time during the week. But what does it do for you? It's a time for reflection, like we're talking about here. Hey, at least we're taking an hour to reflect, to think. The more you do this, the better off you're going to be. The better off you're going to be, the more you do this. By the way, gambling is a lie, and you can overcome it if you want to overcome the slot machines and the lottery tickets and what else is there? There's the sports betting. Somebody was asking about the sports betting. What do I think about sports betting or any kind? I just stay away from it. Period. I don't have a need for it in my life anymore. It feels good to me not to have to deal with that crap because I've got all the other crap in my life that I need to deal with. I don't need that crap. That's kind of like the bigger crap, right? The gambling, the addiction, because that was one of the most difficult. For me, it was probably one of the most difficult addictions that I've ever had to get rid of. It was probably the most difficult because I didn't think I was going to be able to do it, honestly. But I just kept writing out. I just kept writing. I kept writing and I kept writing and I kept putting down what I wanted to stick to my head. Sometimes we get so frustrated because we're trying things, but they don't stick. You got to keep doing it even after you fall. You got to get up. The good thing about today is it's a new day. You can start all over again, fresh. right? I'm in the casino hotel right now battling. Well, hopefully you'll get home, wherever home is, moment to moment, and you'll be able to think about what happened. And tomorrow's a new day, right? Or a couple hours from now could be a new day for you. It could be a new start for you. You don't have to stay stuck. Jim has already mentioned it many times. You don't have to stay where you are unless you choose to. You could choose to stay where you are. You don't have to. It might be difficult for you to get out of there, but there is a way. And there's many people doing great things. I'm not the only one. Jim's not the only one, even though we're working through our struggles. There's many people doing great things. So you can too. So you can too. You can decide, you can look at your life and you can look at where you want to go. There's two paths. There's the right path and then there's the wrong path. You're not stuck. You just choose. Jim brought that up earlier, right? You have a choice. We have choices. So that's what I think about. I think it was Caesar. He said, bet it all or something. I will good only when winning. Well, if you base your emotions on winning, then when you're not winning, you're going to be a, a, a mess of spaghetti all over the place. You're going to be a candle with no fire. Imagine, imagine having a candle where you need light, but you can't get it lit. Man, I got to get this candle lit, but there's no way to do it. Hey, easy Caesar, LOL Goog. Easy Caesar? Laugh out loud, Goog. I'm not sure what that means, but probably, yeah. So, um, again, basically, we're kind of saying the same thing over and over again in different ways, which is what a podcast is, right? Really. And we're almost done here. We're going to be leaving here in just a few minutes. Um, let me see here. We can do well in some areas. How do you get yourself to tap into that power that you already have where you're doing good? You got to bring that power, that energy into these other areas, right? You've got high areas and you've got low areas. How do you tap into that powerful area? Well, this program may help a little bit every week. Coach Jim and myself, we're sharing some wisdom that we need to work on applying ourselves also. We're sharing it with you, right? What does it take to switch over? There's a good one for you. What does it take to switch over? Right? I was thinking about what happened to me. I'm sure, Jim, you can think about areas in your life that you've overcome, right? You're doing well. How did it happen? What was it? What did it take in order for you to get there? Anthony Robbins, he talks about emotion is the force of life. I believe that's what he says. Emotion is the force of life, right? If you can get yourself moving in a certain direction, if you can get yourself thinking in a certain direction, get that mind, that seed planted in here, just build on it. Build on it. I know it's simple, but it's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. It's doable. Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, I think about having an arsenal of tools. Soldiers of self mastery, right? Soldiers have an arsenal of weapons, right? Combat weapons, right? I want an arsenal of these tools that help me uh, think and feel in the most positive way, right? That's productive for me, you know, in spite of what happens, And what are these tools? They're words, right? There are certain words, there are ideas, there are actions, right? Um, Disciplines, right? These are all things I want just a ton of these things. And I want to go ahead and just collect them and use them, right? So
Mhm.
you're so powerful that in spite of all the garbage that's happening out in the world, right? That's attacking you, you can say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and deflect that. I'm going to go ahead and use what I know to just transcend all the nonsense, right? These negative feelings, I think, emotions, man, how can you be in the best emotional state, right? Because the negative emotions, the fear, the anxiety, the anger, right?
Mhm.
You know, that's just the pits right there, and I don't want that. I don't want that, you know. Um, you talked about, how do you do the switch? How do you flip the switch? I think it's about visualizing, you know, what is the future going to be like, if you keep on doing that? What could the future be like if you start doing those disciplines, right? What could the future be like? I can be
Mhm.
happier. I can have peace. I won't have suicidal thoughts. I would care about myself. I love myself, right? I'd respect myself, you know. And when you say, you know what, that smells good, that tastes good, I like that, I don't want to. I don't want to keep saying negative things about myself. I don't want to keep having these feelings of anxiety or anger or like fear or hopelessness. I don't want that anymore. You know,
Mhm.
I'll do what it takes. I'll do what it takes. So develop those tools, right? Develop tools, whatever strategy that can put yourself in the best mindset to be, to be positive for yourself.
Exactly. Be prepared. Preparing. Take one thing away. One thing. If you're here, there's been quite a few guests. By the way, if you feel supported by this mission, if you do feel supported by this mission, make sure to share, make sure to subscribe, make sure to leave a comment. And if you don't feel shy about it, donate, contribute to this mission. $2, $5, $5,000. I'll accept it gladly. We got to keep this thing going. Um, we are coming down to the close here. We're about 47 minutes into this program. And once again, I truly hope that you're taking one thing. Don't try to take two things or three things. Take one thing out of this broadcast. Just one simple thing that you could begin to apply immediately to get you focused in the right direction. Or else you're going to continue to struggle, and time is running. Time is running. It's not like we have 40, 50, 60 years. At least I don't. I don't think I do. My time's going quick. So is yours. Whatever you're going to do, you need to start doing it immediately. Whatever you start doing, whatever you need to start doing, you need to start it like now. Well, we're going to be heading out here. We're going to be back here next Sunday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make sure that you're soldier subscribed to this broadcast. Make sure you turn on your notifications to all, right? Share, comment, a thumbs up. And I appreciate all of you guys that are doing this, that are helping this mission go forward. Somebody's got to be saved. Somebody's going to be saved. Um, we're going to give Jim here a few words before we close the broadcast. But here's what I want you to think about here, right? It may be getting late in the game. It may be getting late in the game. You might think, man, I'm done. I'm done. There's always a way. There's always a way, and you can always start. You can always start over somewhere as long as you're breathing. Right now is the time to jump. Right now is the time to jump. You should be working on your plan. You should be working on your plan.
Yeah.
Jim, go ahead.
Yeah. So we talked about cultivating positive emotions of action. I think one thing that we can go ahead and focus on maybe this week is, how do I cultivate self-confidence? I think a lot of people struggle with self-confidence on this show,
Hmm.
right? I struggle with self-confidence, I mean, self-doubt, you know, saying I can't do this, I can't do that, why even try? How do we cultivate, self-confidence? You know, I mean, I think that you can go ahead and raise your self-confidence by, setting a goal, little goal, and just taking action on it, fulfilling it, right? Just one thing, right? And just do it over and over again. And when you do what you promised yourself that you would do, I think that's when your self-confidence starts rising right there. Okay? And we need confidence, in order to take bigger and bigger steps, tackle these hard issues like addictions, you know you know some of us, I think some people with addictions are just so down, right? They can't pick their head up, right? I think you said that before. They're so beaten down, you know
Hmm.
and we gotta cultivate, we gotta grow that seed of self-confidence, and just set a goal, right? Any goal that's positive and productive for you, and just say, you know what, I'm going to do it no matter what. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again, right? Even if you're tired, if you feel sick, if you feel bad, if you feel angry, just do it, right?
Yeah.
And journal and say, look how far I've come. Look at what I've been able to do. I did it, you know, and that's will
Mhm.
slingshot you to doing the things that you need to do.
That's right. That's right. I couldn't have said it better myself, Jim. So
Confidence.
there we have it. I want to thank all of you guys once again. This is an hour; it goes very quickly. It's an hour for us to prepare ourselves. Therefore, the name, Your Solution Podcast. Hopefully, tonight has been a great one. Again, shout out to Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Hopefully, somebody got something good. One thing, one thing that you can begin to apply. All right, my friends, guests, The Rock from Brockton. Hey, Jesse. That's what I think. Taking notes. Good to see you there, Jesse. The Rock from Brockton. Moment to moment. Hopefully, we've gotten the questions answered. Next week, we'll do another focus on questions. We'll be episode number 197, but we'll work on more of the questions and answers. So bring your questions, bring your doubts, bring your problems, bring it all. Dump it right here at your solution podcast, and we'll get rid of it for you. We'll give you some new ideas. Moment to moment, Mark, Caesar. Oh, that's what it was, Caesar. That from Rich. I feel not. Will sorry. All right, Laura. Good to see you guys there. Be safe. Um, Rich Sapani, good to see you here. Hope you're doing well, my friend, there in Los Angeles, if you're still there. And let me see, we got Ken Smith, didn't we? I think we got Ken Smith. Race, good to see you. We got to make a plan and act on it. Remember what held us back. Yep, make a plan. We come here, we get reminded. Who else was here? There's a couple. K6. There we go. Control your mind. Control your mind. Don't let it control you, right? Control your mind. Don't try to control the gambling. Control you. That way the gambling won't control you. Um, who else was here? Okay, it looks like we've had quite a few here on and off, Mr. Gumballs. That's kind of a funny one. Ancar, good to see you here. All right, Ken Smith. All right, with that said, I'm going to say goodbye to Facebook, goodbye to YouTube, goodbye to Twitter. So one thing, and I'll see you at the top on the inside. Anything else, Jim, before we go?
Yeah, just just have a plan, and have a great week.
Have a plan. Have a great week. With that said, we'll see you guys on the next broadcast next Sunday, 7 p.m. Bring your questions, bring your doubts, and bring your solutions too, because we'll work with those next week. All right. Good night, Jim and Santos. Hey, Jim, thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate you, Coach Jim. There, Tucson, Arizona, and
Thanks, Santos.
we'll come up with something good coming up here. So next week, questions and answers, and then we'll have some other neat topic that we can begin to work on. You could take one thing away, and begin working with it. Until my next broadcast, I'll see you at the top on the inside. Peace through strength. All right, Jim.
Thanks, Santos. Have a great week.
You too. Good night, man. Thanks for having
Take
you again.
care.
Huh?
Bye.
All right. Good night, everybody.